Hi everyone, Heather here with Astrology with Heather.com, and I am back with another super exciting 2-week forecast. This one is for March 2nd all the way through to March 17th, beginning with the magical new moon in the sign of Pisces and extending through the entire waxing phase of the lunar cycle. And this new moon, you guys, is truly magical. This is the time where we are seeding new beginnings for powerful new opportunities in all of our lives. If you haven't already done so, make sure you watch the video that I did somewhere up here floating around about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, because that's what's being activated this week and in the next 2 weeks, and for really the entire lunar month, because this is the beginning of the lunar month. It sets the stage, it sets the tone, it sets the energy for the entire lunar month ahead. And so this is a big, powerful energy, and it's super important. This is also a time where the veils are going to be much more thin. And the reason for this is not just because it's a new moon in Pisces. I mean, Pisces does have that association with psychic energy and mysticism and things like that. But this is also because this new moon is in a wide conjunction with Neptune, and it's activating the sextile between the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that's forming and Pluto, which is the planet that has to do with deep psychic revelations. It's a very concentrated, powerful psychic energy on top of that really strong Neptunian component, which dissolves the boundaries between hard reality and interdimensional energies. And so if you're somebody who works in the field of, mysticism, spirituality, if you're somebody who's highly intuitive or psychic, you're going to be unlocked and opened up way more so than normal. And so that's something to be aware of, right? Because sometimes that can be a little overwhelming and overpowering. Luckily, Pluto does help us to have good boundaries and discernment when it comes to that openness and to all of the energetic implications of the dissolving of those boundaries. So basically, when you have strong Neptunian energy like that, it can feel like you're picking up on everything and anything, like everything in your environment, you're much more sensitive to. And we're going to be feeling this really intensively, especially on that emotional, psychological, and spiritual level during this new moon in Pisces. And so what I mean by that is people are going to be feeling heightened sensitivity, not just when it comes to picking up on other people's emotions, becoming more empathic, more compassionate, more psychic, more intuitive, and all of those things, but you'll be picking up on a lot of things in your environment that you're not normally quite as attuned to. And so that could feel like somebody in your workspace, maybe being in a bad mood, and that's affecting you more than it normally does. But that could also be an energetic impression of something terrible that happened in a certain location that suddenly you're more aware of, or it's influencing you more. It could also look like actual physiological components of your environment impacting you a lot more fully. So something like being exposed to chemicals or cleaning products or things in our environment that are truly toxic that we kind of take for granted and we just kind of pass by every single day. You might find yourself noticing these things more or being more affected by it. And also what you put into your body at this time. And so you want to be extra careful and just extra aware of everything that you're subjecting yourself to physically, emotionally, psychologically, and also psychically. And so these are things to just really make note of. But this is a really great new moon for deep reflection. You're going to be getting really powerful psychic insights because you are so attuned right now. This is also a deeply creative and deeply compassionate energy. And so this is a time that your creativity can flourish. If you're somebody who is a painter or an artist or creative in any way, this is a time where you can enhance that energy or set intentions to enhance that energy over the next lunar month. With Jupiter involved, you might also have this energy of new opportunities coming into your life, not just at the time of the new moon, but over the course of the next month. And really over the course of the next few months, if you watch that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction video that I mentioned, after you're done watching this one right here, of course. And so all of these things are possibilities. And this is a really beautiful energy that's offsetting an energy that's a little bit less beautiful. And we'll get into that in just a second. But before we do, I just want to introduce myself to any of you who are new to my channel. Hello, my name is Heather Eland. I'm a professional astrologer and an astrology teacher. I specialize in teaching students who are struggling to put all of the pieces together to learn to give meaningful, accurate astrology readings and help other people with confidence. In these forecasts, I always start with a 5 to 10 minute general overview. And so try not to skip this because it does provide an important context for what we'll be discussing in the forecast that's more extended for all 12 signs. Speaking of which, when we do get into the forecast for all 12 signs, make sure you listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for the 2 weeks ahead. Your rising sign will be the most predominant energy, your sun sign will be secondary, and your moon sign is important to listen to as well, although this energy will be more internalized and subjective. Finally, at the end of each video, I do a 2 to 3 minute overview of next week's forecast or the next forecast for the next 2 weeks. And that's going to be going over the full moon in Virgo. So if you're interested in that, stick around until the end. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button, especially if you're new to my channel. I do a new video or tutorial every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so you don't want to miss that. Okay, that all out of the way and being said here, let's get into the kind of the more nitty-gritty of the next 2 weeks. So we know we have a really powerful, really beautiful new moon in Pisces. That's going to be a big central focus of the all signs forecast. But we have some other stuff going on around the same time. So on March 3rd, the day after the full moon, which occurs on March 2nd, we have Mars and Venus conjunct Pluto at 27 degrees exact, like super, super exact. And again, that's activating the sextile to Neptune and the upcoming Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in a positive way. But that's still a really intense energy. This is where our passions and our desires are amped up in a huge way. It's kind of an energy of wanting to take what you're truly feeling this visceral response to, what you're truly deeply desiring in your life, and turning it into something practical, tangible, usable, grounded, right? Not something over the top necessarily, but something that's connected to what you truly want on the inside, and putting that out there into something that you could even like structure your life around in the sign of Capricorn, really. And so I actually really like that energy. What I don't love is that Mercury is going to be activating the Saturn-Uranus square all month. That's actually already starting with this activation, where Mercury is going to be squaring Uranus and then hitting Saturn. So that's kind of a lot of tension. If you haven't already done so, make sure you watch my previous videos on this topic, because this is something that's been going on since 2021, since the start of 2021. And this is an energy that causes us to be met with unexpected frustration, hurdles, and roadblocks. The unexpected hurdles and roadblocks could facilitate change that we need that will eventually liberate us, but it's really showing us where we thought maybe we were building a platform for freedom. We were building a platform for our own liberation in a lot of ways through the structures we're creating in our lives. And really, we've been creating a cage. And once we realize that, it's kind of like, oh crap, what have I done here? And how do I rectify this? How do I make adjustments and pivot so that way I can have the structure, the security, the safety that I desire, but also the freedom and the mobility that I desire at the same time. And so that's kind of the push and pull, the struggle. It's also a struggle between the status quo and thinking really outside the box, looking at things from a very unusual, very different perspective from kind of like the mainstream or the norm or what's considered to be normal in our society. And so that's something that a lot of people, I think, are struggling with and will be struggling with even more so this month. But luckily, we have some better energies that are offsetting it. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. The next couple of weeks, we have that crunchiness that's building and building all month long. It's not just like the next 2 weeks. And then we also have this really beautiful new moon energy. We have, also Jupiter going cazimi on March 5th, the Venus-Mars conjunction for the next one that's coming up, actually, because we just had one. We have another one happening at 0 degrees Aquarius. That's also another interesting energy. So Jupiter Cazimi is happening on the 5th, which means that Jupiter will be in an exact conjunction with the sun within 16 minutes. This is an elevated energy of Jupiter, which is already an elevated positive energy, right? It's being activated at this new moon and it's being activated by the Cazimi. This is a time of powerful, expansive new opportunities. But what comes right after that is this Venus-Mars conjunction, and it's actually activating this point that's been really sensitized by the astrology of 2020, the end of 2020, when we had the Great Conjunction. And so we had the Great Conjunction at 0 degrees in Aquarius. And anytime you have a major outer planet or a major activation, maybe by an eclipse of a certain degree in a certain zodiac sign, that sign becomes hyper stimulated or hypersensitive. So when it's activated by other transits, something happens. And so that Great Conjunction, we'll see what goes on. So far, since that has happened, it's been an interesting experience. But thinking back to around that time frame in December and even into January of 2021, so 2022 to 2021, and what went on for you in your own experience can give you a clue as to what's being stimulated or activated this time around. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Shanna Cross, who's one of my teaching assistants in the Cosmic Academy of Astrology, for pointing out that that was happening. I mean, I might have noticed it at some point anyway when I was preparing for this, but prior to even preparing for this video, she mentioned it to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I obviously have to mention that. So thanks, Shanna. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on over the next 2 weeks in terms of the most significant energies. I actually like the Venus-Mars conjunction of Pluto. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it's behaving nicely, or at least behaving itself. Mars is a malefic energy. And so with that Mars, Pluto conjunction with Venus, which is a benefic influence, I think this is just going to stimulate a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of motivation. And so people are going to be feeling really amped up and really motivated very shortly after this new moon to just dive right into something, again, especially something that you're deeply and truly passionate about. And so that is my forecast for all 12 signs. And so that's my forecast, my general forecast, but let's get into the forecast for all 12 signs, beginning, of course, with Aries and Aries rising. Okay, and so for Aries and for Aries rising, this new moon energy is happening in your 12th house, which is the house of endings and letting go. This is actually going to be a big energy, a very powerful energy for releasing something that no longer serves you. This is also the most psychic placement for a very psychic energy. And so this is a good time, especially around March 2nd, for internalization, contemplation, connecting with your dreams, connecting with like meditative states and trance states, connecting with like altered states of reality, I should say. That would be a really good thing to use this energy for. But this is a really good time for a deep dive, deep spiritual exploration of any kind, or to like do something where you're putting yourself in solitude or seclusion, like doing a spiritual or meditation retreat. This would actually be very fruitful for you and could provide benefits that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So I love this energy for that. The Mercury, Pluto, Mars energy, or not the Mercury, Pluto, Mars, the Venus, Pluto, Mars energy in your 10th house is actually going to be causing you to feel super motivated to take action on something that you truly and deeply desire when it comes to your career, your public standing, or your connection with somebody in a position of power and authority. If that occurs for you, if you feel that drive, that motivation, I would say that you have the green light to move forward. I would say that this could actually turn out to be a really good thing for you. The benefits might be more behind the scenes than external, but the benefits are still there. Okay, and so for Taurus and for Taurus rising. So for Taurus, this energy is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of friends, group associations, and people that you surround yourself with by choice. And so this energy is going to bring a lot of really incredible new connections, new beginnings for you when it comes to your friendships, your relationships, those group associations. And so this is a powerful time to connect with new people, put yourself out there, to network in some way. This is also where you could benefit from your current connections. So somebody might want to engage in something new with you or with a group. And if you are able to actually do that, I mean, this is a really great time where A lot of benefits that you can't even foresee at the time of the initiation point can come about and will benefit you for a longer period of time than you might expect. I would say that this is also a really great time to form or to connect with a group of people for spiritual purposes. So to form some sort of like spiritual network or spiritual group, or to join a spiritual community of some kind, or an artist community if you're an artist. This is also a really great time for you to dive right in to learn a new skill, because that Pluto-Mars-Venus conjunction is occurring in your ninth house, which is the house of higher education. It's the house of changing your perspective through direct experience or through a higher educational experience, gaining wisdom. So if there's something you've been wanting to gain more wisdom around, now's the time for you to dive right in, and you can have a lot of really great rewards, especially social rewards and rewards in terms of new connections as a result of that. For Gemini and for Gemini rising. So for Gemini, this is actually a really powerful, beautiful energy around creating new opportunities for your work. Those opportunities could come in ways that you never would have expected, but the ideas or the situations come to you almost magically, or they come to you intuitively. This is a really great time for brainstorming, or for just spending time in meditation or contemplation around your biggest career or work or external goals and plans. I would say that this is also a really beautiful time to merge your spiritual ideologies and the wisdom that you've gained through experience into the work that you're doing and putting out there in the world. And if you are somebody who is thinking about embarking on like something involving teaching or speaking of any kind, I would say that this could be a really great time for that, especially teaching, I would say. And especially if you're teaching something creative or something something creative, or something a little bit more on that spiritual side of things. So if you're like a spiritual entrepreneur, this could be a really great energy for that. The Pluto-Mars-Venus conjunction is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of debt, joint finances, other people's money on that sort of mundane level. And so this could be where you initiate something involving your work or involving a work opportunity, or just initiate something in general that you feel very passionate about, that ends up bringing money into your life through an outside resource. And so it could be maybe making an investment or getting a return on an investment. This is also a time where you might want to jump in and engage with something more on the occult side of things. The 8th house is also the house of magic, occult sciences. So that could be something that you're feeling really passionate about and you want to kind of pull the trigger and just jump right in. And if so, I mean, a lot of really great benefits can come to you through doing that. So I would say that that's a good thing. Okay, and for Cancer rising. So for Cancers, this is new opportunities coming your way this month for you to embrace new perspectives. This is a really great time to study a new topic that you've been really wanting to study, especially if it's esoteric or spiritual or just really vast or creative. This is also a good time for you to embrace your role as a teacher, if that's something that you aspire to be, because this is a really great time for you to impart wisdom that you've gained through your own studies and through your own direct experience. This could also be new beginnings pertaining to travel or connections with people in foreign cultures or foreign countries, or connections to a new teacher. And so all of these things are possible for you, and especially if you're a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising anywhere around that 12-degree mark. So, I mean, really anywhere from 9 to 15 degrees, you're going to be feeling this very positively. This is a massive reset where you get to have an opportunity this month to start fresh and to align your goals, your values, your orientation in life, the way that you show up in the world with your integrity. This is also a time where you might want to jump and dive headfirst into something new involving your relationships in particular. This could be a new contract, a new agreement, or maybe even like a new love relationship or romantic relationship that you're feeling really passionate about. Or maybe you're feeling passionate about renewing the passions in your current relationships. And I mean, all of these things are super favored during this time. And so that's what's going on for Cancer. For Leo and for Leo rising. So for Leo, this energy is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of debt, joint finances, other people's money, those types of things on kind of a more mundane level. And so this could actually bring new financial opportunities into your life in ways that you never could have conceived of or expected. And even when it comes to you, it's kind of confusing. It's like, how did I I get here? How did this money happen? How did this investment work out? How did this situation work to my benefit? I can't really comprehend how this actually came to be, but I'm glad it's here. And so that could be a part of this experience for a lot of Leos, especially Leo risings. This could also be a powerful time of deep healing or a powerful time of deep esoteric or occult study. Again, the 8th house is the house of death. It's the house of rebirth, but it's also the house of things like occult sciences and magic. And so maybe these are things that you're hoping to study or learn more about over the course of the next month. If so, you have the green light to go ahead and do it. There's also maybe a work-related project or a work-related connection that you are deeply passionate about. You have this like visceral feeling that you have to do it. You have to jump in. You have to move forward. You have to take the momentum while it's here. If that's the case, then definitely go for it, because this is a really great energy for Leos to jump right in and to do something on a day-to-day mundane level, or to do something in your work that you are truly passionate about, that you truly and deeply desire to do. This is also a time where potentially there could be something involving your health where you're feeling very motivated and very amped up and very ambitious about your health related goals, especially again on that day-to-day level. So creating a new health related routine or something like that. I say go for it, because the momentum is there and the passion is there, and you have that ability with Mars in the sign of Capricorn to stick it out and see it through. And then for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for Virgo, this energy with the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is happening in your 7th house of relationships. And so this is a really powerful energy for connecting with people, especially in that one-on-one capacity. This could be a new beginning, a fresh start, a reset, or a new opportunity in your current relationship where things expand, they become much more pleasant, much dreamier, much more romantic, or you could have new opportunities coming through old connections. This is also a time though where new connections can be formed, either romantic or otherwise. And so this is a good time to connect with people for business partnerships, contracts, agreements, negotiations. It might not be clear, like all sides might not be clear when it comes to the logistics of everything, but it is very likely that whatever comes out of it is going to be mutually beneficial. So that's okay. I love that Pluto, Mars, and Venus are coming into a little stellium in your 5th house of passion and joy and things that you love to do because you love to do them. You're going to be feeling really passionate and really amped up about doing the things that you love. There might be a new hobby, a new interest, a new thing in your life that you're feeling really excited about and you're getting a lot of joy from. If you love something, do it. That's what this energy is telling you. And that's what I've been telling people recently as well. Because the time is now. Life is short, right? Life is short. And if you're not doing what you love, then what are you doing? So this is a time to kind of embrace that energy. And especially if what you love is something that you can do in partnership with somebody who you care about. That would be the whole package with this specific influence. For Libra and for Libra rising. So for Libra, this energy of the new moon is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of health, work, and daily routines. This is a time for new beginnings in all those areas. So you might have a fresh start when it comes to creating better health. You could have a fresh start when it comes to creating easier and better routines on a day-to-day basis that makes your overall experience of life a lot more joyful, a lot more free, a lot more fun for you. This is also potentially an energy of a new work-related opportunity that comes up for you on a smaller scale, but it could definitely lead to bigger career opportunities moving forward. And so that's something to pay attention to and to maybe ponder and contemplate, because a period of rest when it comes to your day-to-day activities, especially around the new moon, will facilitate a lot of growth and expansion and positive opportunity moving forward. The other thing is there's something that you might be feeling really passionate about and really amped up about when it comes to your home, your property, your place of living, or your family. And there could be tension here. It's kind of tension between what you want personally and what you know in your heart is best for your family, or what you know in your heart is best for like all concerned, or your living situation, or whatever it is. Follow what you're going to feel, this like instinctual, this visceral energy around the move that you need to make, even though personally you might be resistant to it, if that makes sense. And so I say, it's kind of a hard one because there is a challenge there, but action needs to be taken and direct action needs to be taken. And so if something is calling you to make a change or start something new involving your family relationships or your home environment, definitely take that seriously over the course of this next week. Okay, and so for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, so for Scorpios, this is such a beautiful energy, and I think really needed with that Saturn-Uranus activation that's going on right now, because that's hitting the fixed signs really hard. But I love that Jupiter is being in this conjunction with the new moon in your 5th house of joy, love, things that you do because you're passionate about them, because you love to do them. This is a time to set intentions to do more of what you love. It's as simple as that. So if what you love is to kind of do something creative or artistic in that Pisces fashion, then do it. If what you love is something entirely different than that, do that. But spend more time this month doing the things that you love that bring you joy, and the benefits will be exponential. You can't even perceive right now what the true benefits of doing so will actually be. This is also a really intense energy that's really passionate and driven and ambitious around communication or teaching or education. The day that this is happening in my chart too, in the 3rd house, is the first day of classes in the Cosmic Academy of Astrology. And so, I chose this for a reason. But this is where you feel like really motivated potentially to jump in and start something that is true to yourself, that's true to your heart, that on a deep visceral level that you desire and that you need to align with, involving education or teaching or communication of some kind, or your community, or maybe short distance travel, or your connection with people in your immediate environment, forming some sort of intentional community situation. All of these things are possible for Scorpios, and this energy is actually really good for very open, honest, and direct communication one-on-one with people that will be taken really well. So on both sides, it'll go quite well. For Sagittarius and for Sagittarius rising. So for Sagittarius, this energy of the new moon in your 4th house of the home, family, property, and real estate is causing a cosmic reset, a new beginning in that area. There's something that you want to grow and expand on. There's new opportunities coming your way when it comes to your home, when it comes to your place of living, when it comes to your family relationships, or your family environment, your family dynamic. And now's a really good time to spend time in contemplation, solitude, and seclusion in the home. Be home for this new moon energy if you can. And that's going to be a place where not only do you find solace and you can connect more on that intuitive, spiritual, psychic level that I talked about at the beginning of this video, but this is also where a lot of the benefits will be born out of, is from spending time focusing on your home and your family and your roots as much as possible. The other thing that's going on is this really ambitious, really driven energy to initiate or start something involving money. So it could be a new financial project. It could be a big expenditure, like a major purchase that you want to make. It could be like wanting to do something brand new, like a new money-making endeavor entirely for your career. Whatever it is that's coming up for you around this motivation, this ambition, this visceral experience of needing to engage with something financially, I would say go for it and run with it, because this is a really powerful energy, especially if that is connected to the expansion, the changes that you want to make involving your home or your family. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising. So for Capricorn, this energy is happening in your 3rd house, which is the house of communication. It's the house of community. It's the house of, connection with people in your immediate environment. And so a lot of really great benefits can come through those connections, but this is a time for new beginnings in that area. Maybe you want to start a community organization. Maybe you want to purchase a new vehicle. That could actually be a good energy around this, and it comes about in a way that you couldn't have expected. Maybe you want to have deeper, more intimate, more spiritual connections and conversations with the people that you love, especially on that one-on-one basis. This would be a great time for that. This is also a good new moon to set social intentions of any kind. So if you want to make new friends or make new connections in a very specific way, now's a time that you can actually draw that in. But especially if you want to make like more spiritual connections, as opposed to like more like practical connections. So people who you bond with on that level, if that makes sense. So not like work related, like, oh, we can benefit from this mutually on this very tangible, rigid level. It's more like, oh my gosh, I feel this really intense bond or connection to you. Like we should totally be friends. The other thing that's going on, Capricorn, is especially if you are a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, at the end degrees of Capricorn, you're going to be feeling very amped up, lit up, and motivated to jump into new things on all levels. Whatever it is that you want to do, that you personally feel drawn toward, passionate about, you're going to be feeling this very visceral, very intense, very tangible energy that's pulling you to engage in your ambitions, to follow your dreams. There's a lot of intrinsic motivation going on right now, and there's a lot of staying power with whatever it is that you initiate. So you have the green light to initiate anything that you truly and deeply need, want, and desire for yourself and for your own personal development. But just know, if it's not aligned in your truth, if it's not at that level of true desire and true alignment, it's not going to work out. That's just the way Pluto is. You'll push it away. You'll draw it in like a magnet if it's the right thing, but you'll push it away if it's not. And so make sure that it's aligned correctly, and you can do that through your intuition, through meditation, through engaging with the Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces, new moon side of things, spending time in contemplation, but make sure you're aligned first, and you really can't go wrong. Okay, and then for Aquarius and for Aquarius rising. So for Aquarius, this energy is a new moon bringing powerful, magical new beginnings in the area of money, material possessions, finances. This could be an opportunity to make a big, really important purchase that benefits you in ways that you can't even conceive of just yet. This could also be a new opportunity or a cosmic reset where you have new beginnings in the area of money, where you can start a new project that brings in a lot of financial opportunity, or make an investment that brings in a lot of financial opportunity moving forward. And so spending time in contemplation and really imagining what you want, what you desire, and feeling it on that level of emotion when it comes to your financial security, your financial situation. What does that look like for you? What do you want that to look like? Doing that exercise alone can be so powerful, because you're going to be like a mega manifestor in that area at the time of the new moon and for the month ahead. The other thing that's going on is Mars, Venus, and Pluto are conjoined in your 12th house, which is the house of endings. And so it's almost like, in order to reach that opportunity, that abundance, that material desire that you have, there's something that you have to very actively and very quickly let go of, and you know it on this like visceral level, this level of deep knowing, deep desire, right? And so again, spending that time in contemplation and realizing what you have to let go of, even if you are very attached to it, will help you to very quickly align yourself with that vision for your life. And for Pisces and for Pisces rising, this is your new moon, Pisces. And so this is a cosmic reset for you. This is where you can set intentions for any and all opportunities that you truly align with, that you want to accomplish, to achieve, to draw in. This is a really great energy. You're going to feel, I would say, much more positive, but also very, very sensitive. So that sensitivity that I talked about at the start of this video, to provide context for this, you're going to be feeling that more than any of the other signs, physically and physiologically, but also energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. You're picking up on everything. So make sure you have really good, clear boundaries. I would say when it comes to your social networks and your groups of friends and people that you surround yourself with by choice, you will have those boundaries. But in other areas, especially maybe one-on-one connections, or especially I would say work and family connections, those boundaries might not be there, and you might be picking up on things a little bit more so. So you just want to be very discerning and very careful of that. But other than that, this is a time of like incredible opportunity. Set the biggest intentions that you have for yourself for the year. Set them now. Set them at the new moon, Pisces, because this is an incredible energy for you, especially if you're Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from that 9 to 15 degrees. But I would say even further because of that Jupiter energy, so maybe up to 20 degrees. This is a powerful new moon for you. Definitely the most powerful of the year, in a positive way. But in terms of the Pluto, Venus, Mars stellium that's happening, that's in your 11th house. This is where you're going to find out who's truly loyal to you, and anyone else, I've been saying this for a while for Pisces on and off, but anyone else who is not that will very easily fall away. But this is also you engaging in something new with a new friendship that is going to become very important and very deeply connected, and that will be a very deeply loyal, trustworthy friendship moving forward. Or this could be you really feeling really passionate and really lit up about initiating some sort of group project or starting some sort of group in general, or a network, or maybe even like an altruistic pursuit, like some sort of grassroots organization, or even like a charity, especially with that Jupiter-Neptune activation with the new moon on your ascendant. And so there's a lot of possibility here, but this is a really great time for social connection, especially social connection that is deeply aligned with your values and deeply aligned with your truth and what you know that you desire for your social life and for yourself in your life as well. And that's what's going on for Pisces. And that is my forecast for all 12 signs. In the next forecast we'll be doing in 2 weeks, we're going to be discussing the full moon in the sign of Virgo, which is basically the opposite side of this energy. And so it's kind of taking all of this like lovely, magical, intuitive, opportunistic, idealistic energy where we can see the fullest potential of everything that we can manifest in our lives right now. It's taking that and it's like, all right, well, in Virgo, how do I make this real? How do I make this practical? Is this doable? Is this realistic? What's the reality of my situation? And this is in a direct opposition to a stellium that's going on between Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, and the Sun. And it's going to be in a really beautiful trine with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And so this is a time of true discernment. And this is a time of taking things that were born out of this new moon and making them very real and very tangible. And so we'll talk about that a lot more in 2 weeks. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an important astrology update, and share this with your friends if you feel like that this information could be helpful to them. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.